Right there is great. I grew up in a small town in central Minnesota, and around the time of my 10th birthday, my parents announced that we were moving from town, where all my friends were, to the country. And my brothers and I responded that that was the beginning of the end of our social life. But Mom and Dad prevailed, and we moved to the country, and we quickly became acquainted with the farmers that lived there in large part because of my father and his work as an attorney. These farmers would call my dad for advice or for legal issues, and oftentimes they didn't have the resources to pay my dad for his advice. So my dad did this thing, what I like to call creative accounting, which was the bartering system. And so on any given day, the paycheck for my dad's work would look like this. A pickup truck would roll into our driveway, and out of that pickup truck would lumber Farmer Johnson, Farmer Erickson, Farmer Anderson, Farmer Hansen. It was a Scandinavian farm community. And on our front porch, they would leave bushel baskets of cucumbers, of tomatoes, flats of raspberries and strawberries. It was just the greatest. And what I never forgot about that time was how that food tasted. The fresh strawberries with the sweet cream from the local dairy farmer. The fresh cucumbers that were crisp and didn't have that waxy coating. You all know what I'm talking about. The tomatoes that were so red and so fleshy that you could I can remember the taste. So it shouldn't surprise any of you that my husband Bob and I decided to try our hand at organic farming. We purchased some day-old chicks, and we thought if we raised them the way that you should raise chickens, with quality feed, without pesticides and herbicides, and let them free range, peck at the dirt, eat bugs, be in the sunshine, that you'd get this, a healthy hen. And if you have a healthy hen, you most likely, if the hen isn't raised in a 8.5 by 11 cage for the rest of their life, you'll end up with the eggs we remembered as kids, with the sunset orange yolks, the creamy whites. One of my favorite seasons is coming up. I know I recognize a lot of you from the farmers market in Mahtomedi. We're lucky to have a very good farmers market in Mahtomedi. And for those of you with your phone or your calendars, it's June 15th to September 28th. And I don't know about you, but the week after I know farmers market is done, I'm really sad. Because now I have to go back to the grocery store, and who knows what I'm buying, and if there's pesticides or herbicides or what kind of practices the farmers are using. So the thought came, what if the residents of Mahtomedi had access to an online farmers market 365 days out of the year? And what if part of that farmers market was resourcing the food produced by local farmers, therefore keeping your dollars for food in our local economy? And what if part of this farmers market also included educating the consumers, you, on quality foods? This is how I see this market working. On day one, the farmer would go online and he would enter availability, what he was going to be able to sell, how much he would be able to sell of his product, his or her product. Day 2 through 6, you, the customer, could go online. We all know that our lives are so busy. We're giving you a fair amount of time to place your order. You're only ordering for the week for your family. So you place your order, and on day 6, the farmer would get that order. So he knows what he's delivering for you for that week. Day 7, the farmer shows up in a truck, just like when I was a kid, with those fresh products just picked at a distribution center that's convenient to you. And if you can't get to the distribution center, there's a chance it can be delivered. Day 7, you pick up your order. And also on day 7, the accounts are settled up with the producer, which means he's paid for the products he's provided for you, local, keeping money in our local economy. What kinds of foods, what kinds of products could you think about getting in this kind of market? Grass-fed beef, fresh organic eggs, Dairy products, I love that picture. Dairy products, whether it's fresh milk, butter, cream, you know the taste I'm talking about. Fresh organic chicken, produced without hormones and additives. So that's how I see that market working. Again, it would be fresh food, educating you, the consumer, so you know what you're buying, and you have a chance to ask questions and gain knowledge. I'd like to share a short story about my friend here. I call her, she's one of my girls. You folks know what I'm talking about. And I have a great story. I had a dad who contacted me and he said, "I'd really want to adopt one of your chickens for my daughter." And I thought, well, that's great. And he said, "I really want her to know a good quality egg that's produced without arsenic, that has organic feed." That was very important to him. And I said, "That's great, we're cool. But your job is to name the chicken." I thought that was giving him the hardest job. And I didn't hear from him for a while. The next week I got an email and he said, "Dear Debbie, here are our choices so far." He gave this job to his daughter. Now, granted, I don't know how old his daughter is. And he said, "We have banana, apple, sign, and post." And he said, "That's what I get for asking her while we're driving in the car." So a week went by and I'm thinking, uh-oh, I don't hear from him. And he said, "Dear Debbie, let me apologize for the name we've given the chicken. My daughter decided to name the chicken Optimus Prime, after her favorite Transformer. Second choice was Rarity, her favorite My Little Pony." What I love about this story was here was a dad, I'm thinking his daughter's pretty young, here was a dad who was involving his daughter not only in the choice of food, providing the best quality food, but he was involving her so that as she grows older, she could make wise choices in selecting what she's going to eat and someday what her family's going to eat. Because to be honest, you're never too old or too young to learn about the food you're eating and to eat right. Thank you very much.